The New Jersey Devils could be in danger of losing Jack Hughes sooner than you realize. Hi, James Nichols here, Devils beat reporter via New Jersey Hockey Now. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, and turn on those notifications for whenever we post something new or if we go live. Now, let's get back to what we were talking about with Jack Hughes. So, yeah, the Devils could be in danger of losing Jack Hughes sooner than maybe you realize. And all the proof that you need is happening out there right now on the current market. You see, my working theory right now is that new general manager Sonny Mehta has 2 seasons to prove to Jack Hughes that he can build a winning culture. And if he doesn't do that, well, then that's when the alarm bells are going to go off. And, you could perhaps see a situation where Jack Hughes is no longer part of the New Jersey Devils. And again, this is all unfolding right in front of our eyes with a number of other marquee players. I mean, this started with Jack's brother, Quinn, earlier in the season, where he told the Canucks he wasn't going to re-sign there. He had 2 years left on his contract when he, let them know because they asked him, "What are your plans?" And he said, "I can't commit to you guys." And thus, he became a member of the Minnesota Wild. Then you're seeing it, recently with Brady Tkachuk, who told the Ottawa Senators he wasn't going to commit to them long term because we're not winning here right now. And, I don't know what the future looks like. So, no, I'm not going to give you a commitment. And then you look at, the current market with a guy like Zach Werenski, who has told the Columbus Blue Jackets, I cannot give you a commitment because we're not winning here and I want to play for a winning team. So you look at, how the contracts lay out. And yeah, there are exceptions, right? Dylan Larkin is a player who has a 5 years left on his deal, and it's not necessarily a short-term contract. But the bigger scheme here of things is you look at these deals, most of them are coming to an end relatively soon, and these players are deciding, well, I want to move on and go somewhere where I'm going to have a chance to win. And thus you're seeing the market unfold the way it is. And it's not unrealistic to think in 2 years that this could happen with Jack Hughes. So going into Jack Hughes's age 25 season, he's got 4 years left on his contract. And, the Devils work to start showing him like, hey, we can build a winning culture here. It starts right now. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Devils have to ensure that they can build a winning culture around him sooner than later, just to show him like, hey, this is not, a place where, we're just happy to be here. We're a winning organization. Jack has had a taste of that already, at the Olympics playing with Team USA. And yeah, although it's, a different kind of event than, an 82 game, regular season, still Jack Hughes knows what it's like to win. He got that taste of gold and now he's going to want more. He's not just going to settle for, okay, I won. I don't need to do that anymore. No, the hunger has only become larger and he's going to want to find a situation for himself where he can win. So now the 2026 NHL draft has come and gone and the 12th overall pick was not moved for a more immediate help, and the Devils end up selecting Alexander Command. And, now that pick is gone, right? They can't trade that pick. That doesn't mean that they can't trade Alexander Command, perhaps in a package, for a big name player down the line. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They can absolutely do that. The fact of the matter is that, we still have free agency starting, this week on July 1st. And look, the free agent market isn't going to bring in a player who is going to, push the needle for the Devils to get them over the hump to winning contention, right? It really realistically is going to come on the trade market. There are no difference makers on the free agent market as of right now, and there's just not going to be with the way the contracts are expiring and how all those big name players that could have become free agents have all been locked up. But to Sonny Meta's credit, he did weaponize himself before, the 2026 NHL drafts, trading away Simone Nemitz, and he, got the second round pick via the New York Rangers from the Calgary Flames in the 2026 draft. He wound up using that on a player in the draft, but he also got the first round picks from Colorado and Vegas in 2027 and 2028, both top 10 protected, but those are valuable assets. And now moving forward into this offseason, past the draft, the Devils have 5 first round picks to work with in terms of trade value. And look, they can still make something happen with that, right? It's not ideal that they couldn't make something happen at the draft, but you also have to realize that all of those marquee names, that those top players that are available on the market, they didn't go to other teams either because teams weren't necessarily willing to pay the price tag for those players. There is still time for things to happen here in terms of the Devils making an upgrade. So, however Sonny Mena makes that happen, he's got to make it happen fast because, like I said earlier in the video, look, the Devils have 2 years in my mind to convince Jack Hughes that they can build a winning culture to make New Jersey a destination that players want to go to, even in free agency, or maybe they'll put them on their trade lists if they have trade protection, because you're seeing that happen with other teams right now. You're seeing players be more willing to put the Montreal Canadiens on their list of teams that they would like to go play for. You're seeing players be more willing to put the Buffalo Sabres on their list of teams that they might like to go play for. It's not unrealistic to think that these are the kinds of realities that happen when winning is something that happens with your organization regularly. The Florida Panthers, for a long, long time, were on everyone's no trade list, and that's because they weren't winning, right? Now, yes, the no tax state helps, the nice weather helps, but certainly above all else, the winning helps. And yeah, they didn't have the best 2025-26, but everyone knows that that was kind of an outlier just because of the fact that they, one, didn't have not Sergei Bobrovsky, sorry, Alexander Barkov the entire season, and two, for half of a season, they didn't have Matthew Tkachuk because, he was sidelined with injury as well. Now, you see they got Brady Tkachuk and they're making some other moves, and everyone anticipates they're going to be right back in the thick of it. The Devils want to put themselves in the same position. And look, there's also evidence out there to say that, like, the no tax thing, it's not necessarily an end all be all, right? There's no tax in Seattle, and a player like Jason Robertson, who just had the ability to sign an 8-year deal at $15 million per year, he turned that down. Why? Because that's not a winning organization, at least not right now. The Devils need to make sure that they're going into the 2026-27 season, not just armed in order to win and make Jack Hughes, maybe a little bit happier in his situation. Not to say that he's not happy, right? He's poured his heart out and said all the right things since coming back from the Olympics and, being on this high from winning the gold medal, right? He didn't have to go out of his way to say that he was so devoted to the New Jersey Devils, but he did. And I do genuinely think that he means that. However, winning also says a lot about an organization. And if the Devils continue to not be able to, one, either get into the playoffs, or two, if they do get there, make some noise once they're in, right? No first round exits, because that's just going to be another, season of disappointment. Then, a few years from now, you could see Jack Hughes considering his future. Now, Sonny Mena did come in as new general manager of the New Jersey Devils and did say he wants to make smart, informed decisions, and I have no reason to doubt that that's exactly what he's trying to do, and I don't think anybody should have any reason to doubt him just yet. The sample size is just too small. But, by the end of the summer, we'll see how is this all going to pan out. Are the Devils going to go into 2026-27 kind of just, re-signing Nico Hischier, re-signing Arseniy Gritsyuk, and maybe making some depth additions and some minor tweaks in the bottom six, and hoping that they can return to the post Olympic Jack Hughes Devils team that was pretty good, or the pre injury in Chicago to Jack Hughes when the Devils were pretty good. Or will they come back as that mushy middle team that was really not that good, playing sub 500 hockey, and just ultimately derailed the entire 25-26 season that ultimately made them miss the playoffs? But I want to know what you guys think. Just leave a comment below. Do you guys think the Devils are in danger of losing Jack Hughes in a few seasons when, the contract is nearing 2 years, and the Devils might turn to him and say, "What are you thinking? Are you going to commit here long term?" Or is this, maybe just galaxy braining some sort of situation with Jack Hughes? So is this an overthought, or is this something that, we could see happening? I want to know your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to Devils Rink Report, and we'll see you on the next one.